We good? Go ahead.
Welcome to the Valenti Sound Off. I am Shallee here with Ishma, of course. We have an action-packed show for you, a
Yes.
special live broadcast, so check it out, right?
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. Tuesday night. For some reason, we had to be gone last week because we're doing so much on the road, out of town, but we're
Right.
here right now, ready to go. We have an action-packed show. What we're
Ready
going to
to
start
go.
out with tonight? Some
We
NBA?
got some NBA.
NBA.
Brand new action, right? Tim Duncan over here
Yes.
going to his alma mater, as we like to say, basically,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Spurs, him back with Pop. What do you think's going to happen? Is that going to be good?
You know, it's always great because Tim was always this stoic figure on the court, right? And you would see him coaching and doing his little thing, but it wasn't like he was one of those like Avery Johnsons on the coach or on the court, right?
Okay.
Like always guiding people around like a Jason Kidd. He was
Right.
more of that lead by example type one, right? And now he's going to be a coach. So I bet there's a lot of role in the practice, right? He's going to be showing the footwork, showing the technique,
Yeah.
really getting the younger guys to understand what it takes to be an NBA, not only star, but a Hall of Famer.
Sure. Well, it's coming off the season they had, right? Not much hype. Pop, condolences going out to him, right? His wife had passed. So a lot of things had went on in that season. And then, of course, with Kawhi leaving, like, and all that. Just a lot of things, right? So the Spurs definitely need a pick-me-up. And what better than Tim Duncan?
They do. Well, look, I wasn't really ever a fan of the Spurs, right? I was always kind of hating on the Spurs, especially because they always seemed like just plain Jane, like slow. They weren't
But
exciting.
they got it done, though, right?
Yeah, they would get it done, but they just weren't exciting. They didn't do what I wanted to see. And I also kind of always seen them as like not progressive, not really like the cool team, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you look and you see about some of the stuff that Pop says. And Pop is one of the only NBA coaches that stands up and says something when it comes to pivotal issues.
Yeah.
Pop is, I believe, a lot of times on the right side of the issues when it comes to social and cultural things.
Yeah.
And so I had to give big respects up for that. So I became like a Spurs fan lately just off the strength of Pop, you know, and the comments that I've heard him say. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to see what Tim Duncan brings back. And then when Tim left, like retired, it felt like Tim, like what, did he grow some locks or something too? It felt like Tim,
Definitely
like
changed his persona.
yeah,
a
it felt
little
like
bit,
Tim
right?
let his spirit get free a
Got a
little
little bit
bit.
comfortable,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and living every day.
Hey, I really liked it. So I'm excited to see him back. I'm excited to see what he has and what the Spurs are going to bring over because it's a tough West.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a hard place to play, be it for sure in the top three if you're looking at it. And with the Spurs not having much, DeMar DeRozan though, I mean, you can never, right? He's definitely an all-star type of player.
True.
And I think he has a chip on his shoulders definitely after all that happened with the Raptors. And then you see, right, championship right after he left. So it wasn't like they didn't make the wrong decision. But I mean, hey.
Well, what I think, especially when it comes to the whole NBA, the Clippers have been kind of the favorites right now because of the Paul George and Kawhi and trying to get over not only the Clippers but then the Lakers, and then you still got the Rockets because of everything that's happening now with your boy Harden and with our ball monster in Westbrook. So I mean, it's going to be an interesting West, but I can't see the Spurs exceeding expectations.
Yeah, no,
right?
for sure. I just think
they
it's
make the playoffs.
It's possible.
Playoffs.
Playoffs. They got you right. I mean, 8 seed, sure. Like, you know what I mean? I could definitely see that happening, shaking up a little bit. Just having Tim Duncan on the sidelines now is going to be a definitely positive effect on that franchise. So
Definitely. Well, talking about a little bit of controversy. I guess let's wait on the controversy. Let's move to NFL first a little bit. Right?
NFL, okay.
NFL, I mean, there's controversy in everything,
got some action in there,
of course.
For sure.
So, talking about NFL, if we talk about how about America's team first?
Okay.
Dallas
boys. Cowboys.
How about them boys, huh? And I never was a Cowboys fan, but dad was, right?
Shout out to the Cowboys.
Yeah, so dad was always a Cowboys fan, so I was always just kind of had to follow the Cowboys a little bit and kind of look at the Cowboys. Now, when it comes to these boys, you got Zeke Elliott, who's right now holding out strong too.
Yes. I mean, and he's been a player with a lot of different stigma attached to him, right? After this off season, we've seen a lot of different instances with him, dealing with the media and things of that nature. Do we think he's worth what he's holding out for?
Hey, I think that what he brings to the Cowboys has allowed Dak Prescott to have so much success.
Yeah.
He's sitting third right now in quarterbacks who have the most wins over the last 3 seasons. He's sitting third right now. And that is a big attribute, I think, from the running game from Ezekiel Elliott. And just the way that he's able to draw defenses in, play action works. People have to wait and think, are they really running the ball? And every play, they can potentially be running the ball. And so I think that's why Dak Prescott and the Cowboys have had so much success over the last 3 years. So they got to pay the man. Pay him.
Pay him what he's worth, huh?
Pay him. Give him that. What's that, Jerry Maguire? Show me the money. Show me the money. So pay the man what he's worth, for real. And then to say it, he is a workhorse. You give the ball to him. He's not afraid to go between the tackles. He's not afraid to take the big hits, lower his shoulder. He gets up and does a little eating thing, each time.
He wants more, right?
He wants more. Give him more. Now, is he a liability because of the off-the-field issues?
Sure.
Does that take away from what he's asking for? What do you think?
Has to take away a little bit, right, of the or maybe not, right? Because Cowboys, you think of the Cowboys, you think of notorious, kind of like bad boys type of players. Not in the instances of type of super bad people.
But they would take
just
on
the way, just the manner, just the way
they would take on some players that don't have a squeaky clean image, right?
Sure. So with that being said, I think that Ezekiel in the end is going to possibly give them a championship maybe at the end of this. Wow. But I don't think it's going to happen with their coach. That's the problem that's holding them back, right?
You think Garrett's still holding them back?
Garrett's holding back. He's had one playoff win in the whole time he's there. One.
Well, I think it has to be. Well, look, I think it has to be appropriate to talk about, if we're talking about troublesome players that they've had at the Cowboys, we should probably talk about the troublesome owner they've had at the Cowboys, because it looks like he hasn't been in the news. And let's not
Mr.
be
squeaky clean.
Yeah, so let's not
$1 billion playpennies he's built these boys. Right.
So I shouldn't just be focusing on the players, because the owner at the top of the helm there, he's been in the news for less than he would make a lot of people bashful, you know what I mean, blush, because of some of the things that he's been in the media for. So I guess when it trickles down from the top, that's the kind of the behavior that you may be able to expect.
I mean, you lead by example, right?
Right. Hit him with that Julius. How'd that remember the Titans? But really though, I really think that the Cowboys aren't going to be able to really make that run at the NFC like they always really want to. They're always going to be a little step away. And it may be the coach, but I think it has to start at the top. It's trying to trickle down to the top, right? But the stadium's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Oh, man,
right?
It's a nice play. Hey, that Texas Stadium, man. Cowboys.
Big screen to look out there.
That Cowboy field. So, moving on with the NFL, we got the Browns. Those Browns. Baker Mayfield.
Downtown Baker Brown.
So now he has the homie Odell over there.
All right, he has somebody to sling the ball to.
Yes.
Is this going to make a huge difference for them?
Well, Baker has said that Odell Beckham is like nobody he's ever played with or seen before. He said he's doing things that he's never seen, didn't think were possible on the football field. So Baker Mayfield, I love the confidence. He's super confident. He's super in it. And then he goes and says, hey, this guy, Odell is marquee. I can make this happen. How many games do you think the Browns can win?
Man, I know they got not only just with their quarterback being super confident, but down to Odell, of course, with the hugest ego I think out of that team.
Yeah.
But you got the rookie coming out saying that the Browns are going to win a championship. That they drafted out of the first round. So if you're going off all the hype, they're definitely going to be in the talks of the playoffs. And that's going to be huge for them.
Playoffs?
When are they ever being talked about, year to year, year out, about they're going to the playoffs? Not often do we see that happen.
Sure. And they're going into a next season with the same starting quarterback as last season.
And he's had room to improve, right? Has room to, because it's definitely different moving to a college style environment into the NFL. These men are bigger. They're hitting you totally different than a little bit than what you're used to.
Well, I think it's really awesome as well, especially when it comes to that Browns organization, that there isn't like a quarterback controversy right now. Yeah. We know Baker's the man. He knew that going into the offseason. He finished off the season. So now they have this whole preparation that they've been able to do. They've been able to really move and mold towards what they want.
Repetitions, right? Yeah. Over and over and over again.
So I really think the Browns could do something big. I don't see them winning more than 8 games, but 8 games
can get you to the playoffs.
8 games will get you there. 8
games are going to get you there. 7 wild card get you there.
Hey,
so
they can get the
we've seen 6 get there on the wild card. So I may take over that.
Yeah.
I think the Browns may get 9 wins at least this season, and that's if they start the momentum off early. I think that's going to be huge for them. And the squad, especially being brand new and all the hype going into it, they got to be able to establish a dynamic duo right off the bat.
Right off the bat, so they can. So if we're moving on, talk about the Jets a little bit.
Jets, Le'Veon Bell, right? That's all you've been hearing lately about the Jets.
Mr. Bell.
Is he in shape? Is he ready to go? He's tired of hearing everybody commenting on him.
They talking to him like they Coach K.
He don't like that, right?
Is he
don't
in
like
shape?
that. He's over here letting him get to him a little bit, seems like. But when it comes down to, this player, a lot of people are mad at him about sitting out the whole last season.
Sure.
Did he really deserve? Did he deserve the money that he got? First of all, should he have sat out? Does he have the statistics to back up that type of thing?
Sure.
At the end of the day, you have to remember, right, that these are professional athletes, but at any moment, that game can be taken away from him, right?
Sure.
So why? Sure. If he thinks that he should be being paid this much, and overall, he has shown that he can produce night in and night out.
Definitely.
Why not give them in that?
Well, I agree, and I'll tell you why. If you are an architect, and you're an architect, and you feel like your work and your worth is really big and really great, and then let's say that you don't think that your firm that you're working for right now is giving you what you're worth, right? Mm-hmm. Would we ridicule an architect that sat out for a year, or went on a hiatus for a year and said, I'm not going to do any designs or blueprints for a year until I find the company that is going to value my worth and value my skills. And then that architect moves on to that next company, gets paid what they believe that they are worth, and will the public ridicule someone who's doing that, right? At the end of the day, this is a job. This is entertainment. This is this man's job. It's his livelihood. It's how he pays his bills, how he pays his family. And if he wants to sit out for a year and say, let me go get something better before other than being exploited on my talents, having other people making more money than and not giving me my fair due, let me sit out. So I think I agree. I think that not only does he deserve to sit out, but we shouldn't ridicule him for wanting to sit out, because we wouldn't do it with somebody else in another career path. So why do we do it here with foosball?
But a lot of times, right, they always speak about how athletes should be invincible, right? That's how we see them, right? We see them as invincible. I'm paying you my hard-earned money after, I saved for this money for this ticket, and you should be out here performing the best you can, because it is a game at the end of the day, right? That's what people are saying. Like, so why isn't it the same both ways?
Yeah, I see. And it is a free country. You chose to pay that ticket. I understand you don't want to make the fans upset or whatever like that. But it's their life is on stake.
That's what it comes down
inside
to. Your
that
life
gladiator
is
sport. Right. The person who came to watch you play may be a little bit upset. But as we saw, next man up, and Steelers didn't miss a beat, it seemed like, right? Next man up. The talented NFL has so many talented individuals that really, even if you, other than losing your star quarterback, really, you can almost come back from, anything. And even sometimes when you lose a star quarterback, you realize that backup is ready, like a Nick Foles or somebody. Those are where a lot of those people are born. That's where your Steve Young.
Take action
that's where Steve Young came from, right? Joe Montana gets the shoulder injury, and then all of a sudden Steve Young, is up.
Whoa. Yeah. One of the greatest quarterbacks ever.
So next man up in the NFL, and I think that's appropriate. Did we talk about NFL enough?
I think we got enough dose of NFL. Move on.
So let's move on to this big controversy that's happened. Mr. Dan Le Betard.
Oh.
The Dan Le Betard show, and I'm going to be real. Out of the host on ESPN radio, he wasn't one that I thought was going to go with the big rant.
Oh, no.
I didn't see it coming from him.
No,
I didn't
definitely
see it coming.
Did not.
So he was what we call triggered by this rant, by the cultural and social context that was happening at the time, where the squad, known as the squad, right, the legislators who are from different states in America were, I guess, told in, not really even in code, we're told just blatantly flat out on Twitter that they could go back to their countries if they think that they can run the country so great, right? But 3 of the women were born in America, so that is their country, right? The United States of America.
But
and one has been here since she was 12, like longer than the man's wife. So I think that really struck a chord with Dan Le Betard, right? Is that type of, would you say that type of language that was used by El Presidente was demeaning or even as far as racist? What would you classify that type of go back to where you came from?
Just as a person, right, who's always been taught, Rich, you want to leave places better than you found them. No one has to be taught how to say please or thank you, right? When in certain situations, you know what to say when it's acceptable in certain.
It's like a social knowing, right? Social consciousness,
and especially for you being the commander-in-chief, somebody that
Presidente
supposed to be representing everybody. You say these type of statements, and then you think that that people are just saying it, just the most outlandish things about you for no apparent reason.
Sure.
You would assume any educated person, not even educated, any just normal human being, right, is going to think that what you just said can be taken out of context to being not politically correct.
So do you think that it was taken out of context, or would you just say flat out wrong and racist, wrong to say
Period, just flat out wrong and racist. But that's what other outlets are going to say.
I mean, but that's
we're just taking this out of context.
Sure,
right?
Some outlets would be, but I mean, here at the Valenti Sound Off, I don't think that we have any.
Without any set or doubt, those type of comments do not need to be made.
Well, they're just not needed.
It's just not accurate at that, too. And if you're going to say something, why not be accurate about the statements that you're saying?
Sure, It's just not accurate, right? But too many times, I think when we hear that, would we have heard that a lot of people are saying, well, he wouldn't have been able to say something like that. He wouldn't have said something like that if it was, which a lot of times are against him, like a Nancy Pelosi, who is always against the president usually, right? Mm-hmm. She always speaks against him, always saying something against him. Or a Bernie Sanders, right? Well, they have grandparents and heritage that was from a different country. Mm-hmm. They have ancestors that are from a different country. And he's never said, oh, why doesn't Bernie Sanders go back to where, he originally comes from and tries to fix their nation up and see how great America is or whatever it is. He never goes there. He doesn't go there with Nancy Pelosi. And can we assume that the only reason why he would go there with those for the squad would be because of their color, of their skin color? Is that fair or no?
It's definitely fair, and it's at the same time very, very saddening to realize that even now with all of the different, you could say warning signs and flashes saying, hey, these kind of things are offending. These kind of things are not okay. Even if you don't think that they are meaning that way, we are telling you firsthand that we do not like these kind of things, right? So when
it's like a lack of common courtesy when somebody's saying, no, hey, El Presidente, stop saying stuff like that. And he keeps on. Now, what would you say to people that say, because even me in my mind, right, I'm like, when I read something like that, I'm like, whoa, that's crap, because point blank, I've been told go back to Africa, right? And I've, unfortunately, right, I'm trying to hurry up and go expand and see all of Africa, right? But I ain't been able to do it yet, right? I haven't been able to do it yet. So I'm trying to go back to Africa. but you know how it's been said to me, right? And so it's been said, hey, go. You
not
go
in a good way.
No, of course not. Now, so, of course, that being said, I look at things and I say, well, let's look at the other side, right, where criminal justice reform has just been passed, to where prison reform has been passed, and a substantial number of black people are going to benefit from that and have already benefited from it, being let out of jail and going to get lighter sentences, going to be let out. And then we do look at some of the, of course, the rate of unemployment right now in the African American community now has gone down. To where more black folks have a job, they say. There are other things, of course, that this whole administration would say, hey, look, these are very, very, very clear and cut things, right? President Obama calls Kanye West a jackass. President Trump brings him up and he's talking about prison reform.
Not only that, he's bringing his wife into the White House, right?
I mean, really, and talking about prison reform. I mean, really. And so sometimes we say, even me, I have to step back and I look and I say, not only the president is saying racist things, because those are definitely racist things you're saying. In the connotation, they definitely are, just point blank. I've been there. I've been in those shoes. That's not cool. But then when it comes to words are one thing. Then when it comes to actions are another, right? Have the actions been, or when we go to HBCU numbers, right? The historically black colleges and universities, when it comes to the breakdown of this administration's money that they've given compared to the administration of the Obama administration, HBCUs have received more money. And if somebody has different numbers or that, please comment, please share, please do anything. If you want to comment on the show so we can see your thoughts on this.
For sure, your input. We want to know what you think about it.
Was the president being racist? Now, coming on that, does Dan Le Betard on ESPN, where and his show isn't a sports and culture show, right? We're a sports and culture show. We stem out to other things. We was talking about Monique the other day and things, right?
For sure, right. We try to cover a lot of it.
Yeah, but Dan Le Betard, he's a sports show.
Sports oriented. So
he was really upset. He's saying the ESPN can't talk about sports unless Popovich says something or unless Kerr says something.
Let's be clear, when he said this thing, all of this rant that went on, it was on his radio thing. It was not on that his show that airs live.
So it was on his radio.
It was on that radio.
On ESPN radio. And when he was talking. So do you think it was appropriate for him to say it during his sports show, though? A lot of people say, hey, don't talk about this.
Right.
Don't take a knee during the
Don't
thing.
bring politics into your work.
Don't protest on that. What do you think about that?
I think, how courageous does he have to be in the first place, right? To take the stand to be able to want to say things like that. Because in the past, people and ESPN analysts have been reprimanded for saying things a lot lesser than what he
Jemele Hill lost her job, right?
Talking about the president, correct?
Lost
her job quickly. Now, for him to have that state of mind to be like, I don't care about the consequences. I'm going to do what's right and tell what's right, what my truth is, right?
Wow.
That's the problem nowadays, that a lot of people are taking your own truth.
Wow.
So if you can be comfortable enough, and especially in that type of situation with the people that he knows are going to hear it, the people who you're going to be broadcasting to, I think it's amazing that he took that stance, and I'm fully behind him. I think that's awesome.
He did take the stance. I wanted to really quick bring up, now when it comes to Jemele Hill, she lost her job. It seems like she said less. It was tweets. It was tweets, right? And then when it comes to how come Dan Le Betard hasn't lost his show?
Not yet.
And, I mean, he had it. Yeah, hopefully not. But he had a meeting with the reps and the producers, the owners. It looks like he's still going to keep his show. And so it kind of brings up something we were talking about last week. When we was talking about the double standard against the women, where the black woman, she speaks out, she says something, she's taken off the map right away. Dan Le Betard is a man, is a Hispanic gentleman,
father immigrant, right?
Yeah. Is he getting a pass that Jemele Hill didn't, and is it because he's a man?
There could be a lot of different instances of why we haven't seen the full outblown cry of take his job. Like
I haven't seen that. Right? I haven't seen that so much.
We have heard about it. I have heard about it from folks, but you haven't heard it as such disdain as you did for her. So
do you think it's because what the president said was so egregious, like go home, and then the next day at the rant they're like send her back. Do you think that was? It was such. I mean, that will probably be like in my kids' history books in high school, right? Like that, the cultural.
Yeah, for sure. These kind of things right now are historical events that are happening to us right here and now, right? I think I just find it amazing that you don't think that he's going to follow it up with anything worse, and for sure, it keeps on getting followed up.
Well, a lot of people say, "Hey, look, it's not his fault that his crowd said send her back, send her back." But you know what I say to that? I say, I remember, because I follow politics very closely, unfortunately. And I remember when John McCain was trying to beat brother Barack Obama, and he was at a town hall, something just like the President Trump was. And the lady, she took the mic. She said, "I don't like that Obama because he's a Muslim, and he wasn't born in America, and all this stuff." And John McCain, who I'm not a fan of, I'm not a fan of John McCain for a lot of different reasons from Vietnam. But he takes the mic. He goes, no, hold on, I got to stop right there. We differ on a lot of fundamental things when it comes to how to run this government and our democracy. But he's a good man. He's a Christian man. He's born in America, and he says, we differ on these political differences, but he's a good human being. He's a good man. You can't call him a terrorist, and you can't say that he's a Muslim when he
What
goes
he said, those things are not true. That's what he said. I remember that. Like it was,
no, he went on and on and on.
I remember
right?
that.
He really stopped him. Thank you. So he really stopped him. Really quick, a big shout out to our production crew here, Channel 724. You have to subscribe if you want to see us talking about these opinions, talking about culture, sports, life. You got to come to the Valenti Sound Off only on Channel 724. Make sure you subscribe. So, but I really, really, really do think that it's kind of amazing, you know, when somebody's able to not only stand up, but for the right reasons, but when you see something that egregious, you know, it's really too in your face, right? Not to say something.
Well, it's like, you know, if you're raising kids, right, you're always sitting here trying to tell them, you know, do the right thing. You know, I mean, do things when people aren't looking, right? Do the things that, you know, I prepared you to do, or I've shown you the right way to do them.
Sure.
Well, how are we to, you know, sit here and sit back and not say anything when we have such a platform? As he does there at ESPN, right? Yeah. And I think that's probably some of the things. I have no idea what's going through his mind, but I would assume those are the kind of things that are going through his head.
I mean, he got choked up. You saw this is raw emotion.
Raw emotions, right? Uncut type of footage.
Yeah, this wasn't something I think where he just said, "Oh, I'm gonna talk about this. I got to talk about it." I mean, his people around the mics were everybody was. It was kind of like
super
that Kanye, George Bush doesn't care about black people moment where Mike Myers is like, what do I do?
Just got stuck.
I'm
still,
just, am I still here? Please, want to get away. Like, so it was like that. The rest of the show, I felt like was sitting there like, oh, what are you doing, Dan? What are you doing? What are you doing right now?
Hanging on the edge of his word, like what is he going to say next? Is he going to keep going about these things?
I mean, he did. He didn't hold back.
But none of the things he says were they untrue? Were they things that, you know, the problem, you just don't hear it enough. And so it's such a shock. It's such a, you know, it's such a bombshell event when it happens like that.
Well, a lot of people say, Ishma, do you like that? Do you not like that? And I have to revert back to brother Malik Shabazz, that says, better known as Malcolm X. He says, I would rather know the wolf and see the wolf's teeth in front of me, so I know they're trying to bite, rather than have a wolf in sheep's clothing. So then when I turn my back thinking it's good, then it bites me from behind.
Right.
So if that's really how the president feels, I want to know straight up. And I think that's what we get with this guy.
That's exactly what you get. There is no sugarcoat.
It's like playing spades face cards up. Like, you know what's going on. You know the decks.
You know what they held.
You know what the decks.
Yeah.
So you know where it lies. Well, let's move away from some of that controversy. Again, comment. Let us know what you think about Dan Le Betard and what he had to say. And just in the cultural midst of it all. Is sports the right place to do protests? We've seen a lot of things change because of sports.
Right.
A lot of people give a lot of the civil rights movement and just integration in general into that credit to baseball with Jackie Robinson. A lot of people say that sports crosses those cultures a lot of times and helps bring these people together.
Right.
So if they can help bring people together like that, then why not be able to put your views and protest and display out there where it's been that arena for so long, it seems like.
Sure, and there should be no reason why you can't, because, you know, at the end of the day, right, we're living in a country where you can do whatever you want. You're free. You have the opportunity, a lot of people say, to be able to reach. You got First Amendment, which protects a lot of people.
Yeah, a whole lot of stuff. You say whatever you want.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, just being true to yourself, and that's what we're seeing a lot more of these days as well, too, right? Yeah. It's been a huge surge in that, I feel like.
Know thyself, find thyself.
You know, people are like, draw them saying like, yeah, for sure, I'm pro this. I'm pro this. Yeah, if you don't like it, who cares, right? Like, and before there used to be times I remember when we were young, like, man, people did those kind of things or said those kind of things, like, they'd be definitely painted as an outcast, right?
Definitely. So you're able to be you. Hopefully you can be you in a positive way, in a great way, in a light way. Now, we got a lot of stuff coming up. There will be more sports. There will be more great sports to talk about. The Valenti Sound Off will have more topics, and we're going to be here with you every week. We're going to kick off. So, again, we got a special time tonight. We appreciate everybody that brought in with us tonight, everybody that's on the broadcast, looking at us at channel 724 on YouTube only. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We need you to subscribe so you know every time that we come on. And Shallee and I, we're going to keep having fun.
We're going to have a great time with you.
We're going to have a great time. So tune in next time. We'll make sure to put a big broadcast out there. Until then,
sounding off.